Ghanatube so we have for model snowy. Masan so atenasibio in some ahodo ekobe nyina no nsa ebeka ewo channel we so enti ntempa no so mennom enkwan no enja fointi ye be hakotie in some ahodo bi ekoso ewo Ghana na yaba.
On the 8th of January 2025, an SUBCRIBE filed an application for certiorari and prohibition at the Supreme Court, seeking to quash the election petition filed at the High Court on December 31st, 2024, along with all related proceedings on grounds of lack of jurisdiction, and to prohibit the presiding judge from further hearing the case before him. Obviously, you know what will happen. The application for certiorari and prohibition was served on the registrar of the court, Mr. Anthony Atachi, on the 24th of January 2025. The affidavits of service show that all the parties, including the judge, who is the respondent in this application for certiorari and prohibition, had been served with the said application. Yet the said judge, His Lordship Justice Senior Amedehe, did not stop but went ahead or proceeded to hear the case before him. Another application for stay of proceedings was filed at the Supreme Court, and the registrar of the High Court, number 3, Ꞇourt, was also served with this application. On the 12th of February 2025, but His Lordship Justice Senior Amedehe, in his usual style, did not stop hearing the case to allow the Supreme Court to determine the merits or otherwise of this application for certiorari and prohibition against him. He went ahead to determine the matter. On the 11th of February 2025, an application to set aside parliamentary election petition filed on the 31st December 2024 and an order for interim injunction, order for substituted service, was granted on the 22nd January 2025, and a motion for committal for contempt filed on the 13th January 2025 for lack of jurisdiction within a return date of 26th February, and that is just a few days away, was filed at the registry of the High Court, number 3, Ǩoforidua, but as usual, Justice Senior Amedehe decided not to wait to hear the merits of this application before him. The question is, what is the interest of the judge? What is the interest of His Lordship Justice Senior Amedehe in this case? Is he doing a bidding for somebody at all? Are we not now dealing with proceedings when it has to do with election petition? The judge, His Lordship Justice Senior Amedehe, once again ignored the processes properly filed before him, and which same were also served on his docket, and proceeded to deal with the issue of contempt. On the 24th January 2025, Honorable ୟାupreme, given the conduct of the judge, His Lordship Justice Senior Amedehe filed an application for him to recuse himself on the grounds of bias and prejudice, but he refused to recuse himself. And this normally would not happen. The question any reasonable mind would ask is, what is the interest of the judge in the matter before him? That all these applications had been filed at the Supreme Court, including a certiorari, including a stay, and including our application for him to recuse himself. But evidence abound that Justice Senior Amedehe decided to proceed with alacrity. We are the minority, are still worried. At worst, there is a pending application seeking to oust the jurisdiction of the court, including the very contempt application before him on his docket, which is yet to be moved on the 26th of February 2025. It is mind-boggling that While the learned judge did not want to wait to hear the propriety of this application, since this was challenging the foundation of the petition before him, including all the processes and the orders made pursuant to the filing of the parliamentary election petition on 31st December 2024. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it would interest you to know that on the 18th February 2025, Honorable NS ယာupreme caused to be filed a motion on notice to arrest the ruling of the judge on the contempt application, but as usual, and in the normal grand style of Justice Senior Amedehe,
very biased judge,
he decided to show his biasness again. He decided to ignore the application that was pending before the Supreme Court, and for which he had also been handed a copy. In fact, one copy was on his docket. He, in his grand style, decided to go ahead. Interestingly, this is Justice Senior Amedehe, who at countless moments has thrown the law to the back burner. Interestingly, again, this is the same lawyer who had been attending court and has been filing processes and receiving processes emanating from the registry of the same court. It is doubtful why a court would refuse to hear a lawyer in a contempt matter, because when you even go to the contempt matter, the usual posture of Justice Senior Amedehe was to ignore the counsel for Honorable NS ယာupreme. And how is it, can one even phantom this in a criminal jurisprudence, that a lawyer for someone you are accusing for a certain crime is there to represent the person, in the person of NS ယာupreme, and the judge ignored the submissions of the lawyer and proceeded to give a ruling. At this stage, let me state that a contempt matter is a quasi-criminal matter, claiming that the lawyer should have filed an appearance. When somebody came to you earlier, you allow the person to open the phone to give you details of a certain WhatsApp or a certain publication. But a lawyer comes to stand in for a client in a contempt matter. You are asking the lawyer to file an appearance in a quasi-criminal matter. Hey, Justice Senior Amedehe. At this stage, let me state further that legal steps have been taken, and a notice of appeal has been filed against the ruling of the High Court at the Court of Appeal. An application for stay of execution pending appeal has also been filed at the High Court, number 3, Kufoidia. Moreover, all the parties to the certiorari and prohibition application, including the judge, His Lordship Justice Emmanuel Senior Amedehe, who is the respondent to this application before the Supreme Court, have been duly served. Further legal steps would be taken, and the minority caucus in Parliament will address the Ghanaian public on the way forward. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, Ghana's democracy thrives on fairness, the rule of law, and the principles of justice. The actions taken against Honorable NS ယာupreme threaten not only his rights, but also the very foundation of our democratic processes and principles. The judicial system must not be weaponized to serve partisan interest or undermine the will of the people of Akwetia. We call on all well-meaning Ghanaians, civil society organizations, and the relevant authorities to ensure that justice prevails. The law must be applied fairly, and due process must be respected. Any attempt to subvert the democratic will of the people through judicial overreach must be resisted. Ghana's democracy is bigger than any individual or institution. It is our collective duty to safeguard it.
I have got here in some apostle ever on my for comment. Ehukimi ewo comment section na menjebre enkinkan farmer fefe make I will be say aha Ghanatube so open some ahodo any akese a fa wani twemu ewo channel we so there more reason betimi enya nsem no and as betimi atenia so quickly no is by subscribing and also hitting on the notification bell. Ebusian for modofo snow ni sisi ade makram.